Hei! Vero 2008 tapahtumassa Seligson CEOn vieraana oli Capital International. Capital on yksi maailman johtavia varainhoitajia ja he ovat toimineet tällä toimialalla jo yli 70 vuotta. Heillä on varoja hoidossaan yli 1000 miljardia euroa ja asiakkaitakin on yli 50 miljoonaa. Nyt siirrymme kuuntelemaan Capitalin edustajan Christian Legerin esitystä aiheesta Behavioral Finance, kuinka sijoittajien käyttäytymistä voi hyödyntää.
I'd like to talk about three things today in particular. First of all, the challenge of investor psychology, the topic of my presentation, behavioral finance, and then some proven principles of successful investing that can help us with these challenges. And finally, I want to show you a way how we can put those principles into practice. Now, you may tell me, behavioral finance, that's a big word, that's scientific theory. What's the bottom line? Why is it important to you? Well, we think if you understand it, if we can understand it together and we understand the challenges that it poses, then we can overcome them and we can find a way to become successful investors.
Kuinka ymmärtää sijoittajien käyttäytymistä paremmin? Sijoittajien päätöksenteossa pelko ja ahneus ottavat vuorotellen vallan.
How do people make decisions? I'm sure you know that there's a lot of work that has been done on the study of the brain. And as we know, human beings are primarily driven by the two sides of the brain. There's the left side of the brain and the right side of the brain. You may know that the left side of the brain is the analytical side, the side that takes in data, that finds problems, implements logical solutions. And the right side of the brain is the creative side, the side that creates the images, the side that has the emotions, etc. But I said we want to talk about some of the challenges of investor behavior, and there are also some of the negative aspects of either one of these two sides taking too much prominence. And those you can see here. Paralysis by analysis oftentimes leads to doing nothing, or translated in the investment field, which is what we're talking today, leads to fear, the fear of losing money, and hence people prefer to rather make no decision than any decision. The right side of the brain can oftentimes be very overwhelming. You read something, the latest trend in the newspaper, and you're so emotionally impressed by it that you invest right away. But then you read the next thing a week later and you think, oh, that's the new trend right now, and then you switch. So those two opposing forces we also associate with fear and greed, which are forces that, as we will see, determine the short-term movements that we see in the markets, and especially today.
Seuraavaksi Christian Leger esittelee 3 prinsiippiä menestyksekkääseen sijoittamiseen.
The first principle I would mention is focus on the long term. Think about your long-term investment objectives. Think about what, your 10-year objectives, even better, 15, 20, 30, 40-year objectives. Things such as retirement or the education of children and grandchildren, buying a second home, or just maintaining or improving the quality of your life. Focus on these long-term investment goals. That's principle number 1. So what this actually shows you is that if you had been invested for a period of at least 10 years in the world stock markets, over no single period would you have ever lost any money. In fact, the worst you could have done, and that takes into account the whole technology bubble bursting here from 1993 to 2003. I think if I get it right in my head, over those 10 years you would have still almost doubled your money. I think this is something that a lot of people forget, that the power of long-term investing has in fact such strong positive effects on your portfolio. Now, how do you do that? We talked about stock markets. How have some of the richest people made their money? Through borrowing, or through lending, or through what many people nowadays call arbitrage, hedge funds and things like that? No. Through ownership of great companies. People that run well-managed companies. You see people like Richard Branson here, Bill Gates, or the Indian Lakshmi Mittal. Now, of course, We can't all be entrepreneurs who run multi-billion euro companies, I know that. But through stocks, through equities, we can participate in the ownership of such great companies. So the second principle is be an owner of great companies. Of course, the one thing you could tell me is, well, what if it goes wrong? And you're right, yes. Probably you don't just want to be an owner in one company. Now, what do? This gets me to my third principle. You may wonder what that is. Is it a birthday cake? Are they electrical plugs? Was I trying to draw a bird? I'll tell you what they are. They're elevators. There are two simple drawings of elevators. One is attached to one cable and one is attached to 4 cables. Now, in an earthquake, which one would you rather be in? The one on the left or the one on the right? And this gets me to my third principle, and that is diversify. Don't just attach all your wealth to one cable. Don't just put all your money into the ownership of one company. Or as some people say, don't just put all eggs in one basket. Try to own more than one great company so that the risk of losing your money in one is reduced and you diversify. And a great way of doing this is by owning funds. Funds such as we manage and such as Seligson offers to you in Finland.
Ja lopuksi kuullaan, kuinka Capital International hyödyntää käytännössä edellä mainittuja 3 prinsiippiä.
We believe that taking care of clients' money has nothing to do with gambling or speculation. It is a serious job, and as such, you need to be a company that is serious about it. We're privately owned, and we have always been privately owned in 75 years. The only thing we do is manage individuals' money, and we don't think we should advertise. We don't believe spending money on that is in any way prudent or is in the interest of our investors. And the only thing we do is we sell through advisors, firms like Seligson. You cannot buy our funds on the internet. Now, when you think about aligning investors' long-term objectives with the way we work, how do we do that? As I said, we don't speculate, and we are not a place for people who want to make quick money. Our investment professionals are compensated based on how well they do, based on what great companies they select, and they're compensated over 4-year rolling periods. As you see here, the industry average currently of holding an equity is about 12 months. Well, for the people that do that, I would suggest go to Las Vegas, because you have the same chances of winning and at least you get the drinks for free. We select great companies not just by looking on some computer screen. We have 250 analysts working for us that do nothing but travel the world, wherever they may be, to identify these best companies. And these are actual photographs. These are not made-up photographs. These are actual photographs of analysts doing exactly that. Now, when they come up with these great ideas, how do they put them into this fund? How do they put them into our products? Well, they communicate these ideas to the fund managers. And as you see here again, it's not, this is just an example of a fund. The people that actually implement these ideas, that actually invest, first of all, there's not just one person, so it goes back to the principle of diversification. Even here, the money is not just attached to the will of one individual, but several, and all of them have a very, very long experience with our firm, on average 20 years. You see some of the more extreme cases here. Nilly, she has 45 years of experience with us.
Hyvä hajautus ja sijoittaminen pitkäjänteisesti hyviin yhtiöihin ovat periaatteita, jotka me myös täällä Seligson CEOlla allekirjoitamme. Kiitos esityksestä, Christian.